Looks good. It looks good. It's going to be a great night when YouTube cooperates. Very excited about tonight. Excellent. Looks good. You never know. You never know. But that intro probably isn't going to happen. I got to level with you. I think a lot of people love overwhelming amount of people after the last show said, hey, you know what? Why don't you just leave it the way that it is? We like watching you stumble and stare off into the distance, wondering if anybody can see you. So I'm probably going to leave it as it. I might eventually do a Gear Talk intro, but for now, you're stuck with me staring off, going like this a couple of times to see if things are moving. I hope you don't mind. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 75 of Gear Talk. Gear Talk is the show that I do every other week where we talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. If you know the difference between the USD 7, the USD Carbon, the Seba, CJ, and what they all are about and why they're all kind of the same, you've come to the right place. Gear Talk is the show that we talk about the most intricate side of rollerblading tech. We talk about sole plates, we talk about 45-degree straps, we talk about liners and insoles and shock absorbers and things that you could never pick up a girl at a bar talking to. You know that meme where there's the girl who's at, I don't know if it's a baseball game or whatever, and the guy is staring at her and she couldn't care less what he's talking about? That's me at a bar talking. I mean, I'm married, so I have no reason to speak with anyone else. But if I were single, that would be me talking about, well, you know, actually, the USD 7 was the best because it had an internal shock absorber and it was plastic and it was sub 200. Anyway, if that sort of thing interests you, and if you find my discussions something that you would love to hear more of, you come to the right place. We do Gear Talk live on YouTube every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is episode 75 of doing it every other week. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. It's kind of the time that we always do it. If you're joining us live, we would love to have your questions. One of the nice things about Gear Talk is we usually get a few dozen, up to 100 or so people watching it live, which means that the chat gets a little lively when I mess up or when I say things that aren't correct. Or the best part is if somebody has a question that they need answered about gear, about maybe the skates that they got that aren't fitting properly, or maybe they want to get new skates or new wheels and they would like an opinion. There are a lot of really smart people in the chat that would love to answer your questions. If you would love me to answer your question, make sure that you tag Back to Blading in your message. Just put the little @ Back to Blading. I will see it. It will show up in orange. I would love to answer your question. I love answering everybody's questions that I can. Try to stay as gear related as you can. I'm much more comfortable talking about gear stuff than overall skating stuff or trick stuff, things like that. But I would love to answer your questions. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading in it. If you are watching this after we record, absolutely no problem. I know that it's hard for some of our friends over in the UK to stay up for this show. 9 o'clock is a little late, but my kids go to bed at 8, so this gives me enough time to get over to the warehouse, get set up, and get started. If you've got questions, please make sure that you leave a comment in the video. I would love to answer your questions. I read all of the comments on the YouTube videos. I love getting your comments, even the bad ones that are mean to me. I love just reading them. So make sure that you leave a comment if you've got a question. I'm never too busy to answer questions if you have something that's on your mind. Like I do before every show, I'd like to thank the helmetinitiative.org for helping us with our helmet giveaway program. We are super thrilled that we've been able to give away a few dozen helmets already. It's one of those things that's super important to me. I love seeing people wearing helmets when they go skating. It freaks me out seeing people fall down without a helmet on. We're all getting older, you know, we're all probably supporting ourselves now. We're not living at home with our parents taking care of us. And as a result, you got to make sure that you protect your head. If you hit your head, you could end up in the hospital. You could end up in a coma. Trust me, I've had friends who have ended up in comas as a result of just stupid stuff, jumping on a P-rail or something and they fall off wrong and they hit their head, wear a friggin' helmet. It's super easy to do. I understand that helmets can be a little expensive. I know a lot of people might not have the means right now to spend $60 on a good helmet. I am here to help. I would love to send you a helmet. Thanks to the helmetinitiative.org, we've been able to give away a few dozen helmets already, and we'd love to give a few dozen more in the next year. So if you need a helmet, please leave a comment. Sorry, not a comment. Go to backtoblading.com/helmet. I'll put a link in the chat. Backtoblading.com/helmet. That's where you go to fill out your information so that I can pick somebody at random. I like to give away a helmet for every episode of Gear Talk. If you are in the US, I will send you a helmet directly. If you're not in the US, I actually will send you some money to take care of a purchase of a helmet. It's a little difficult to send helmets overseas. It gets expensive with importing, and I don't want to have to put any burden on you for taxes or customs or anything like that. This should be a free helmet from start to finish. So if you're over in the UK, might not be able to do a full helmet, but I'm going to try. I'll give you what I can. That money comes from the Patreon. So if you are interested in helping us with that or helping keep the lights on here, getting advanced access to the podcast, getting access to the live stream archives, we do a Patreon. It's a couple bucks a month. We would love to have your support. All the money goes to buying new product for review and getting helmets out to people who need them. Couldn't do this without the help of the Patreon, so I really appreciate all of your help. And again, thanks to the Helmet Initiative for getting the helmets to us. It really means a lot. Helmetinitiative.org if you need more information. Patreon.com/backtoblading if you'd like to support. And backtoblading.com/helmet if you want to sign up to win a helmet. All right, on to the skates. So I haven't big wheeled in a long time. I really need to go out there and skate. I've got 3 setups that I'm super excited about that I can't wait to share that I haven't yet, that are just burning a hole on my wall that I really want to skate and I haven't been able to. The weather hasn't been cooperating, and then now I'm actually finding time to do it, and I've got so much going on at work that I've had a really difficult time sneaking out to skate. But that won't stop me from skating aggressive. So I was able to skate aggressive the last couple of weeks. If you joined us in the last episode of Gear Talk, you saw that I got a pair of the 908 community skates, and I've been skating those the last couple of weeks, and here they are. So these are the Them 908 community skates. These are a Them 908, so they haven't made the 908 in a while, maybe a year or so. I think they made the U1, that might have been the last, correct me if I'm wrong, but that might have been the last 908 that they had. They had the blue ones and they had the U1s. I think those both came out around the same time. Then they launched the 909, and it's been 909 ever since. This is the first 908 that they came out with, and since then. And it is the classic Them silhouette. So it's got the fingers on top, kind of made famous by the Bauer Sabotage. No, the Bauer Community. What's it called? Civility, something like that. They don't make them anymore, but those Bauer skates that had the little fingers that help with the tightening of the laces. It is a open shell. So what that means is that there is a mold out in China in one of the factories that anybody can use to make a skate. If you look at the Impala skates, so there's a brand of roller skates called Impala. They make inline skates now. They are using a shell that is an open mold. If you look at that shell, you compare it to the Razor's Colt, they're the same shell. Now, how could that be, right? Well, Razors doesn't own that mold. They just use that mold whenever they want boots. Just like how John was able to use this mold to make the 908s. The exception is he paid for some inserts to make it cosmetically different. So the actual mold has little nubbins up here to protect the laces and a few little lines and colors and stuff, or and textures and stuff. He got rid of all that. So this is a very clean looking shell. And he has his own sole plate. So this is the 908 and the 909 sole plate. This first came out in the original 908s back in 2018. They are a kind of minimal sole plate, I would say. I always say that they're kind of like an expert mode. They're not the widest sole plate that you'll find. They don't have the deepest groove that you'll find, but a lot of people love these sole plates. The newest thing about this skate is the frame. So this is the Them frame. This is a 58 flat. I think it can run 60s on the outside if you wanted to ride anti-rocker. But it's kind of designed for flat. I think most of the skaters on Them ride it flat. It is a really amazing frame for skating flat. It's got a really nice split, 110 millimeter in the middle. The groove is shallow, which could be really nice for some people, especially if you're doing sole tricks, just to not get any wheel bite, because it's got a nice groove and it's fairly shallow. It came with 56 millimeter wheels that I was not a huge fan of. So I put on some 58s. These are the 58 50/50 wheels. These are an 88A. 88A being a lot softer than the 90 92A wheels that came with it. My old knees love a softer wheel, and 88A for me is the hardness of choice. It gives me enough bounce that I feel like I'm getting that responsiveness on a nice cushiony wheel, but it also holds up to light wear. So if I'm skating a rougher terrain, they won't wear down as quickly as an 85. 85 is really amazing. We're probably the only aggressive company that makes an 85A 58 millimeter wheel. I love the 85s, but they're mostly designed for a skate park. So if you're going to skate outdoors, if you're going to skate rougher terrain, you might wear through the 85s faster than you expected. They're really great for wood skate parks though. That's where I always recommend them. The 88s are my all-purpose wheel. They are my favorite wheel for every situation. One of the problems that I had was the liners that came on these skates didn't fit me super well. I have the liners here. So this is the Them liner. It is based on the original Them liner. It has this little turtleneck mullet. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know if there's a term that's like endearing that you could use. It looks kind of silly outside of the boot. In the boot, it looks nice because it wraps, this area wraps around the cuff. So the cuff fits in under here and then this pulls down. And I think it looks really nice. The thing outside without the cuff kind of looks a little silly. Upgrades from the original that I was skating. The first is it has a neoprene toe now. Now what that means is when you put your feet in there, you can see my little finger moving around in there. It's a little bit more adjustable. So this fits a size 9-10, so like a 275 to 280 or so, of 272 to 280 foot. So it's a 9-10 shell. The one shell uses this liner for both. Where I ran into a problem is I'm a 10.5. And you can see that this liner is probably long enough, like from here to here, probably long enough to fit in the shell. The problem is you can see the tip of this toe starts like a good, centimeter back. That is where the 9 is, I bet. So this is probably the 9, and the 10 is what you get with your neoprene toe. I'm a 10.5, so I need this to be a little bit longer than that, and it doesn't fit me right. Add to that, the back area, the cuff area, is super padded in this. So it's just this big, thick padding, which probably feels great if you're the right size, like if you're a size 9 or a solid 10. But for me, being a little bit bigger foot, I couldn't skate these for more than 30 minutes without my feet really hurting. Like they felt cramped. I kept stubbing my toe when I would miss a trick. Now, obviously, don't miss tricks, right? Well, some of us miss tricks. And when I do, I stub my toe and it hurts. So instead of riding this, I decided that I was going to swap it out with my Rossi's RL1 liner. Let me pull this out. So Rossi's came out with these liners last year. They are a direct response to Intuition. Intuition is initially a ski liner brand. So they make liners for ski boots. And they make really high quality liners. This is the Rossi's version of a high quality liner. It's very different than the Intuition in design, in the way that the laces strap in, the way that it has a neoprene toe, the way that the inside is different stiffness and all that, but it's around the same price. This is a $180 liner. The Intuitions are $200. So we're really comparing this to the Intuition. I think that's a fair assessment. They're both around 200 bucks. They're both really high quality liners. And to be honest, I like this one better than the Intuitions that I skated. And the main reason is it fits my foot better. That's really it. Like, I feel like the Intuition is a great liner, but it didn't feel like it gave me the right fit that I wanted. They fit fine, but they didn't fit as well as this RL1 fits. This thing fits me like a glove. And that just means maybe the liner that you want, because it looks cool or because it fits your price range or whatever, might not be the right liner for you. You gotta try all the different liners, you gotta see which ones fit your feet, and then stick with that liner that you found until they fall apart, right? So I'll probably be skating this liner for years to come, depending on how long it lasts. I have seen some reports of this thing falling apart, especially around the stitching up here. You can see there's a little stitching area. I've heard of people having issues with that coming apart, and then the tongue just pulls right off. Thankfully, knock on wood, I haven't had any issues with that. These are still in impeccable condition. I've skated them I skated them in my sways, and I skated them 1 session, 2 sessions now in my 908s. So I've probably skated them for like 10 hours, I guess. So minimal wear, minimal use, but definitely a fan of these RL1s. I think they're a great liner. If you're interested, if you haven't tried the Intuitions, definitely worth trying. If you've tried the Intuitions, you want a high-end liner, but you're not feeling the Intuitions, these are definitely worth taking a look at. So, how was skating the 908s? Well, it wasn't great. It really wasn't great. I had a miserable session. I had a really miserable session, my first session out. That one I blame on the liner not fitting. You know, if your foot feels uncomfortable whenever you're skating, you're going to have a bad session. I fixed the liner issue. My feet felt great. I fixed the wheel issue. My wheels felt great. It felt great to skate. But I had a really difficult time with grinds. I was struggling to get a Royale. Now, this isn't the most forgiving flat frame, but it's a fairly good flat frame. The catch is you've got to get pretty boot down in order to get a Royale on this frame. It doesn't have, so a couple things. It has a really wide groove. So when you're Royaling, you make it all the way to here. I feel like if it stopped a little bit sooner, and if it went flat a little bit earlier, you might have a little bit more frame so that you wouldn't get this bite, so you wouldn't rub on the wheel. I also have a little concern about the way that the angle of this frame doesn't have a little built-in chamfer here. You see how it kind of comes off the edge and then goes straight down? That is a little weird for me, because when you do Royales and you try to get boot down, you want to balance on the outside of the sole plate and the outside of the frame. If the edge of this frame is skinny like this, it's harder to balance. You want something that's a little bit wider. Now, a lot of people will say, well, just break in your frames, right? Go to a ledge and just grind it and everything like that. Absolutely, that is the way to do that, and that is what I'm going to be doing. But for my reviews, I always like to skate them box fresh, and I like to show people exactly what you're going to get in the box and exactly my thoughts based on the base specs. No upgrades, no nothing, and then I slowly upgrade the skates to skate better for me. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to break in this Royale groove, because it just does not work for me. Let me show you what I mean. I brought my little rail out here like this. So when you're doing a Royale, you want to get boot down, right? So first of all, this is a fairly modest angle, I guess. It's not like you're skating flat frames, you know, the really tall frames with the 70, 76 and the 80s. Is that what they are? 72 and 80s? That's a pretty high groove. This was a pretty high groove for me. And I think the main reason was that this groove that doesn't have this little chamfer, it made me choose so that when I was doing royales like normal, I would stay kind of up and I wouldn't go fully boot down. Then when I would push to boot down, it was like a bounce between this edge and the boot. So I would kind of feel like I was boot down, and then I would pop and I would end up boot down. And then that change would kind of slip me out. The second issue that I ran into, this cuff is a lot stiffer than I'm used to. So I think the original 908s, now I did have the original 908s. The original 908s I felt really confident with. They were a very squishy hard shell boot though. This is a much stiffer hard shell boot. So that means first I have to bend my legs a lot more and squat down more on my royales. Second, I need to position my front foot out, push my front foot out further so that this back foot can compensate for that squash. And if I push my foot out, that means this back foot will stay here and I'll be able to balance a little bit more. Just like, you know, if you watch Frankie do his royales, he gets really low, he pushes that front foot out. Those are the two things that I'm going to try. The third thing is I want to try a new sole plate. I don't have a problem doing sole tricks with this sole plate, but I feel like I'm trying harder than I need to. If you look at the grind area, you can see where I'm doing soles. You can see this little area here that's grinding. Like if you continue, do I have a straight edge? I don't. If you continue grinding right there, you kind of, like I'm so close to this edge. Now obviously it's fine, like a lot of people love these skates. I'm saying that I want a little bit more sole area. I want to be able to jump on soles without having to focus so much. Because when I have to focus so much, I end up missing a lot. You can see where I was missing. You can see this edge. This is when I'm missing sole tricks and I'm grinding on the side of the ledge. I don't do that very often. I'm pretty good with my sole tricks. So for me to not be able to land soles consistently, that was a problem. So I am going to be swapping out these sole plates tomorrow, and I'm going to be skating new sole plates this weekend. But what sole plates am I going to get? Well, here are the 908s. So these are the 908 plates. I took the sole plates off. If you look at the sole plate, you can see that it is nice sole plate. This is actually my sole foot. That was my switch foot. But yeah, you can see that where the sole area is, the shiny area. It's so close to the edge. So the cool thing about these are that it is a raised heel boot, which means that this area where the heel is lower than the toe. So if you look at the bottom of the sole plate, you can see the heel of the sole plate is higher than the front. What other skate that I love has a raised heel boot that I could make work? Well, it's the USD Sway. So I got myself some brand spanking new USD Sway sole plates. So it will require a little bit of modification. I am going to make a video explaining all of the things that I've done to make these work. But this sole plate is going to be a beast. You can see how big it is sticking out the side. It is an incredible sole plate. This is the sole plate that I love for most everything. When I'm skating, my P-rail, my box in the back, it is just an amazing setup. I love the Royale groove. So when you do Royales with this, get on there. I might have to do a few more mods to it, but it's going to be an easy mod. I'm sure I'll make a nice video so that people can see how I do it. When you do Royales, because this sole is so wide and this Royale groove is nice and deep, when you lock on Royale, it feels really good. This Royale groove lines up perfect. Let me get the, actually I'll even get the them frames and show you what it looks like. Oops, there it goes. All right. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to mod this up tomorrow. But you can see this angle. Where's my PVC? You can see the angle is so much easier. It will lock nice and clean. It should give me a nice, huge locking area. Like this groove is huge compared to the them one. So when I lock in, I'll feel nice and sturdy. how am I going to mount them? So they sent me from Roller Warehouse these sole plates, and that's it. How are you going to mount them? I got some Fruit Tech Sway mounting hardware. So Fruit Tech, if you don't know, our good friend Jonathan Hayes down in Georgia is fighting the good fight down there to keep people honest, which we need a lot of help down there. But he's also making some really cool hardware. And this was I paid for this. So this is a kit of hardware that you can use to upgrade your bolts and cuff bolts and hardware and stuff like that. Really cool idea. It uses all Torx screws so they won't strip. It uses really high quality bolts so they won't rust or anything like that. Not being paid to say this or anything, but I support smaller companies that are on their way up. I think he's doing a great job with this. He's finding a hole in the market. Like, where else are you going to get? Like, I ordered these sole plates. They didn't say that they didn't come with hardware. What are you going to do? Buy some from Fruit Tech. You're good to go. I actually am very happy to say that if you're interested in getting some stuff from Fruit Tech, they are doing a promo for the next week for us. If you are watching this, I think it is fruittech.com. Am I wrong? Let me bring it up real quick. I might be wrong. I sure hope it's fruittech.com. I should have done this before, huh? Fruittech.coffee. I don't know. Nope, Fruit Tech. What's the web address? Fruit Tech Hardware. Fruittechhardware.com. Go to fruittechhardware.com, find something that you like. These are the Sway 90. These are the 908-909 sole plates. Sorry, 908-909 boot with the Sway sole plates. There's a special pull down for them so that you get the right hardware and the right bolts. If you put in the code GearTalk at checkout, you will get free shipping for the next week. So that is huge. Shipping usually costs a couple of bucks. Not going to save a ton of money, but it's amazing that they were able to do that for us. I highly support, new companies. I support the little guys trying to find a niche and do their thing. I think Jonathan's a great dude. So anything that we can do to help spread the word about good people doing good things, I am here for it. Fruittechhardware.com. Use the code GearTalk at checkout for free shipping. I don't get a kickback. I paid for this hardware. I just want to help people out, and I want to help spread the word for cool new companies. So I will be doing a video hopefully tomorrow to show how I modify this sole plate so that I can get it on my 908s. Looks like there's more modification than I realized. You might have to Dremel out a little bit because it looks a little tight as well. Like this area here might need a little bit of mod, so I'll see what people say about it. I'll make a nice video so that I can illustrate it, and then I'll post it so that people can see it. But I am super excited to skate these. These sole plates are amazing. I absolutely love this ride. I think the Sway is a great boot. I'm finishing up my review of the Sway this week. Should have that live Friday, I hope, if everything goes smoothly. Anyway, tune in for this skating this over on Saturday. I'm probably going to go back to Marsh and do all of the same tricks and see if I can make an improvement. Definitely going to make a sole improvement. It'll be interesting to see what the Royales feel like, though. All right, let me get some water, answer some questions, and then let's talk sole plates. All right. Zizar Zukas finally made it to another live. Missed the last 2 or 3. No problem. We love having people. We love having you when you can show up. We always record these so that you can watch them afterwards. I know it's not as fun as interacting with people when you're live, but please, if you got things to do, you got things to do. Like, skating is amazing, but life comes first. And don't do this while you're driving or something like that. Like, it's not that important to be on the live stream. So put the phone down if you're driving, or if you're doing something else that you shouldn't be watching your phone. But we do appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Hope you have some good questions later. BIM Gaming, it's very fine line for big boot riders on wheel size, frame height, and sole sizes. Wrong setup, and I'm dragging sole plate everywhere. I hear you. I don't know how big your feet are, but it's definitely hard out there to find big feet skates. I was looking at some rollerblades yesterday, I think. I was doing some research to see what the most popular rollerblade brand skates are for free skating. And they have something called the Rollerblade XL, which is a size 13 to a size 16 boot. And I thought that was incredible. So it is a huge boot. See if you can Google it, if you can find it. Rollerblade XL is a huge boot, and it has this big, I think it's a UFS boot. It has this big like frame that just looks awkward, but it's amazing that they made a boot. Like, the market is so big that they can make a boot for size 13 to 16. That's crazy. I don't know what to say. I mean, it sucks trying to find it. Thankfully, I'm in a very average to bigger foot size, but I feel ya. I wish there were more options for big feet people. Absolutely. Alex Paz, hey, hello again from Kauai. I can't wait for those core prime frames. Me either. So they should be landing. Today's the 18th, 19th. Today's the 19th. They should be landing on the 22nd. That was the last that we heard. So that's Saturday. Realistically, probably a couple days to get through customs. So probably get on a truck on Monday or Tuesday. On their way here, usually takes a few days to get here from there. I don't know how long, but I'm assuming that it's going to be end of next week, if not the beginning of the following week. First week of June is pretty realistic, assuming that we don't have any delays with customs or anything like that. It's really hard to say, but as soon as I get notification that the frames are through customs and they're on a truck, I will let everybody know. Again, thank you all so much for the support. If you missed out on the pre-orders direct from us, please remember, we're not sold out of frames. We just don't have any frames in stock on hand here. There are plenty of shops that are getting them. All around the world, shops are getting them. This is one of the biggest releases that we've had for a new product. And I've gotten so many shops from so many different countries that I've never spoken to before, or that I've tried to sell 5052 in the past and they just weren't interested, who are now interested. So you name it, and a shop has probably reached out to pick some up. Hopefully they'll have them. If you are interested in picking them up, make sure that you get in contact with your local shop. Ask them to pick them up. If they don't have them, we have another shipment coming in a couple of months. We've already placed the order. They're in production now. So in a couple of months, we'll have another shipment if you can't find them and if they sell out. But absolutely, thank you all for the support. Again, full disclosure, I own 5050 shirt, prime frames. If there's anything funky about that, let me know. I try to disclose as much as possible. I try to stay as unbiased as possible. But obviously, you know, if I own a company, I want to make sure that I let everybody know that I own a company. So, but yeah, we're super happy about the frames. Cannot wait to see what people think about them. I've started to see some of the team really skating them and getting used to them. And it's a really great feeling seeing. So thanks again for the support. All right. Oh, Alex again, what size was your RL1 liners? I used an XL and it was very spacious and too large, thinking I needed large or medium. I ride a large. My foot is a 28.5 centimeter and they fit perfectly. So I think that is the right size for the large. I bet the XL is like a size 10 or 11 to 12. So you probably bought the wrong size, but definitely the large fit me great. So 28.5 large RL1 fit really nicely. Blading on the brain, Kenan, my man. Got to get out there, man. I'm dying to come visit California. Now that I'm fully vaxxed, I feel much better about it. I see you skating all of my old areas. We got to go hit up Alameda. We got to skate some street in Alameda. I know some spots that are probably capped. And we got to skate the skate park, best view in the Bay Area of the amazing city, making you want to try different wheel hardnesses now. You know what? The thing about wheel hardnesses is it varies from company to company. You can get a 90A in, a La Beta pour, and a 90A in a undercover pour, and a 90A in a fitty fitty, and it's going to feel completely different. I spent a lot of time testing wheels to figure out what ones I liked and which company that we should go with. And we ended up going with our company, and they make great wheels. We don't make anything harder than 90A. And there's a reason for that. I feel like if you're skating good quality wheels, anything harder than 90A, you can't really feel the good quality. Like it just becomes a pebble. It becomes something hard that you get that isn't going to wear down. And you don't get it for performance, you get it for longevity. And for me, I like getting nice things. Like I want a smooth ride when I'm out there skating. I don't care if I have to replace my wheels twice as often because I know that my wheels are good quality and they'll last a long time. I'm going to go with a 90A, not go higher, not go 92, 93, 95A. Like I feel like there's avoiding wheel bite, which I totally get. If you're skating flat and you want a really hard wheel on the inside, totally legitimate use. But if you're skating 95A and a rocker, I mean, it's one way to keep your wheels from wearing down, but it's going to be a miserable ride. Like I spend nice amount of money on nice things, and I like to make sure that I get the best ride that I can when I buy wheels. So definitely got to try some of those softer wheels. 90A is a really good all-around wheel. I think 88 would probably be really nice. You're a bigger dude though, so maybe 90 would be comparable to me skating in 88, Our friend Jeremy skates 85. That's probably comparable to me skating 88s. So it all just varies. There's a lot of things to consider, but definitely got to try new wheels. Try all the wheels. The wheel industry loves you. Thanks for watching. All right, are we talking about sole plates? Let's talk about sole plates. First of all, let me just put any rumors to rest. I am not making a sole plate. I think that sole plates are amazing. There are some really great sole plates out there. This is not a sole plate announcement show. The sole plate industry is very difficult and very expensive. So if you look at the THEMs, so this is the THEM 908. This is the size 910 shell. This sole plate is designed for this shell only. Oh, and then there's a left one. So you need to make two sole plates for this shell only. How many shell breaks does THEM have? They have the medium, they have the large, they have the small, and they have the extra small. That's 4 shell breaks. So that's eight different sole plates that they had to get molds for. Now each of these molds, how much do you think this mold is? My money is on about $5,000 for a pair of sole plates. So what are we looking at? 20 grand that they've had to invest in sole plate molds. I mean, again, these are estimate numbers, but if I wanted to make a sole plate, I would have to make 2 sides and I'd have to make at least 2 shell breaks, right? I couldn't just make one for my skate because then people with smaller feet would get angry with me. So I would make one for a size 7/8 and one for a size 9/10. That's 10 grand. How much could I sell sole plates for? What, 40 bucks, 50 bucks? It's gonna take a lot of sole plates to sell enough so that you can justify that. The reason why you see people machining sole plates, the reason why you see people 3D printing sole plates, and the reason why you see sole plates going out of stock a lot and only being sold by skate manufacturers is because they are necessities for selling boots. That's the only reason why people make sole plates. So, rumor to rest, I am not making a sole plate until I make a boot, which again, rumor to rest, I'm not making a boot anytime soon either. I got enough plates spinning. But if I make a boot, I will make a sole plate, and I will make sure that that sole plate is available so that people can buy it aftermarket. And you know it will be wide, and you know it'll have a nice groove, because this is what I like. But no, I'm not making a sole plate. I think there are plenty of sole plates out there tonight, and I'd love to show you some of my favorites. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about boots. So there are a ton of different boots out there. If you go into the aggressive discipline, most of the aggressive boots are designed for grinding. So they'll usually have a fairly low profile ride, like you know, a frame that fits up to like a 60, maybe a 64 millimeter wheel. And they usually have a sole plate. That sole plate usually has an area on the side so that you can do grinds, sole tricks, you know, topside tricks, negatives, things like that. There'll also be a little royale groove area. So that's the side where when you jump on the rail and you put your feet down and you're kind of squashed down, it's a royale and you get on that royale groove. Same with going the opposite way or doing unities or savannas or whatever. That's basically the sole plate. So it has the grind on the side, it has the groove, and then it has some protection for the boot. So if you were to fall off a ledge or if you were just slip out or something like that, sometimes it just rubs and it protects the boot. Now, every aggressive skate comes with a sole plate of sorts. There are a few exceptions, and I wanted to talk about the exceptions before we get into the details. The first exception is the USD Aeon, which is missing, is right here. USD Aeon, this has an amazing sole plate. Really nice, really wide. It's got a great groove for royales. It is a one-piece design. This doesn't count. So this sole plate isn't replaceable. This is part of the boot. So if you wear through this sole plate, which a lot of people do if they're skating a crunchy ledge over and over again, it doesn't have a ton of plastic. This little raised area is really nice, but it doesn't have a ton of plastic. If you grind through this sole plate, you are out and you got to get a new boot. Now, new boots, $100 or so. The problem is having a new boot available. They're pretty hard to find. I bet some shops carry them, but for the most part, you're looking at buying a brand new pair of USD Aeons. And right now, these skates are hard to come by. They're always hard to come by. I highly recommend the Aeon for people who want to get back into skating. It's a really great skate because you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. This is a great sole. This is a great frame. These are great liners. You don't have to worry about anything. You put these on your foot and you go out and skate. But there are trade-offs. And that trade-off, main trade-off is this is a one-piece design. You can't swap out the frame if you want. You can't swap out or replace the sole plate. There are some exceptions. So they do make, USD doesn't, but different companies make sliders that after you wear this down, you can get these little wings that you put on. You drill into your skate with little T-nuts and then you drill them in. Really great ideas, ways to prolong the life of your Aeons. Those are super valuable, but that's just adding a Band-Aid on. It's going to wear down eventually. They're great boots though. So if they fit you great, you probably wouldn't have a problem sticking with them. But for tonight's discussion, we're not really getting into the Aeons because what is there to say? This is the sole plate. If you like it, great. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. You could put wings on it to make it a little bit faster, but that's really about it. Another interesting skate that we do see a lot of, but has a kind of a proprietary sole plate, is the Razor's SL. Ooh, where are the SLs? Ooh, where'd they go? There they are, right behind me. So this is a very funky sole plate. These sole plates have a very weird design. So this design mounts the frame onto the sole and then the sole plates mount to the side of the boot. Very, very funky. I love this design. It makes it feel super low. Gives you lots of control on groove tricks and on sole tricks. These sliders are replaceable. So this is a slider and then they have the replaceable groove area. So you can replace all of these. You can find people that mix and match different colors. Looks really great, especially like with a black boot and you put some white sliders on and a red grind royale groove. Really interesting colorways that you can come up with, but this is a very unique sole plate. So we won't really be talking about these sole plates. I do like this sole plate, but it's a very unique design, proprietary design. You can't really do much with this design. It's kind of the way that it is. So Razor's SL, again, I recommend them. I think they're great skates if you can find them, if they fit your feet. But for sole plates, we're not really talking about them tonight because Razor's SL sole plates are Razor's SL sole plates. That's all you get. You don't have any options, but they're good. All right, there are a few others out there. We could talk about REMs, but I don't want to hurt myself pulling it down because it's so heavy. K2 isn't here anymore. K2 doesn't really have sole plates. We can talk about the Xsjados. So I heard that they're coming out with new Xsjados. These are some, which ones are these? Ooh, I forget. But these are old Xsjados. These sole plates are, again, proprietary. You can put these Xsjados soles on different skates and modify them so that they fit, but you really can't put anything else on this skate. This is kind of the way that it is. Very unique, very huge. You could see just how big this sole plate is. It's really designed for just jumping on big things and just grinding everything. I plan on getting a new pair of Xsjados when they come out, just so that I can skate the newer ones. But I've got a couple pair of Xsjados now, which is fun. Very interesting setup, very interesting skates, but we won't be talking too much about the Xsjados tonight. What we will be talking about are the two main buckets of skates that have standard-ish aftermarket sole plates. And those are the raised heel boots and the flat heel boots. So an example of a raised heel boot would be the Them 908. If you look at it, you can see that this heel is higher than the front. So if I put a rail here, I put this flat, you can see there is a gap in the heel. That means that the heel is raised. Most skates have a raised heel. Either they create the raised heel with the sole plate, like this skate, or they create the raised heel with a shock absorber inside the boot. Let me show you what that looks like. Yeah, this is a good one. So these are the USD Carbon. This is a flat sole boot. So if you remember the Them 908, USD Carbon, absolutely flat. So the heel is at the same angle as the front. Now, if you skated it just like this, you would feel like you were falling back a lot. That is not a fun ride. That's going to feel like you're constantly leaning backwards. You're constantly on your heels. You need to have that forward lean so that you can be in like an action position. Just like you're walking around with shoes and you've got a little bit of a heel on your shoes. It feels better. How do they do it? Well, this skate, USD Carbon, has an insole. Get out of there. These insoles get stuck really easily. Is there an insole in here as well? I guess there is a little bit of padding in here. So this insole has a cushion in the back. Let me get you a better example that makes a little bit more sense. Let me show you this Seba. So this is a Seba CJ. Let me show you what this one looks like. So inside here, this is another flat boot. This actually is a really good example because I don't have a sole plate on underneath. You can see the frame is mounted perfectly flat on the boot. And inside, they have a little shock absorber. If I could get this buckle out. Notoriously stubborn buckles, the Sebas are. Get out of there. It's also hard to open backwards. There we go. All right, get this insole out. And here is the shock absorber. So not only do they have an insole, this insole doesn't have much padding at all, but underneath the insole, there's a shock absorber that I just dropped. There is a shock absorber. So this 10 mil, maybe 14 mil, gives your foot that forward lean that this 908 would have naturally. This way. So if this were under here, this would be a fairly flat boot. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. So that means there are predominantly two different styles of boots out there that we can talk about, that you can customize. The flat heel and the raised heel. Now with the raised heel boots, we're talking about the 908s, We're talking about the Majestic 12s. We're talking about, ooh, what else is a good raised heel? The Fifth Elements. Looking at my wall, the Colts. I'm sure I'm missing some. Those are probably the Sways. The Sways are probably my favorites. Those are probably the raised heel boots that you're going to be considering. There are a few different sole plates available for raised heel boots. Most of the raised heel boots, unfortunately, will require a little bit of a modification in order to get a sole plate on. So my favorite is the USD Sway sole plate. This is the sole plate. Let me actually get my Montre Sways. This is the USD Sway Montre, and this is the sole plate. It's just a beast sole plate. This is my regular sole foot, so you can see I've been skating it a lot. Just a really nice angle, really nice width. I don't have my ruler here, but it comes to my second knuckle. I mean, it's just consistent. It's a flat edge. Compare that sole plate with the 908 or 909, for example. You've got a little bit of a curve here. It's pretty close in width, but it kind of angles out in the back. You can see the heel. So it gets really big in the middle. Right here is the width, the biggest width. And this is like as maybe about 10 millimeters less than the Sway consistently. So you're gonna miss more soles with this sole plate than you will with the Sway. A good skater, an experienced skater, probably won't miss soles. But if all you're doing is skating on weekends, you don't skate very often, take the extra assist, get yourself some nice wide sole plates. I'll be upgrading these skates with the Sway sole plates because I love those Sway sole plates so much. Another sole plate for the raised heel style is the Majestic 12. These are classic skates. These are actually the Valo V13s, but a Majestic 12. This is the same style of boot as the 908, as the Colt, as the Sway, where it is a raised heel boot. It has a sole plate very similar in width, even less than the V13 actually, if you look at my knuckle. So if you can do sole tricks with these, if you can do topside tricks with these, you got it on lock. No hints, no help. Easy for you to do tricks with this, then you're a pretty good skater. This also has a really interesting Royale groove. So these skates in particular, the Royale groove isn't a perfect line. The Royale groove actually angles off a little bit this way. So when you jump on a ledge or a rail, instead of going like this, you're gonna go a little bit like this. That's the way that we used to do Royales. When I started learning Royales, that was the way that I was doing Royales. You kind of put your toes up there and you kind of lean on like this instead of like this. This was like how Fatties, K2 Fatties were. They were the first skates that I know of that had the Royale groove that was lined up perfectly with the frame. Most of the other sole plates out there don't have that Royale groove like that. The nice thing about raised heel boots is most of them are fairly compatible. So you can usually, with a little bit of modification, take any of the sole plates and put them on any of the boots. Again, my favorite is the USD Sway sole plate. If you can get those sole plates, there are tutorials online to get those Sway sole plates to fit on almost any skate, any raised heel boot skate. The Majestic 12s are a really good skate to consider for getting that wide sole plate, because this is a very limited sole plate. You can actually see, this is my left, so you can see the grind area where I was grinding. Very, very close to the edge. I probably missed a ton of like true Miz or left foot soles with this skate. I haven't skated these in a long time, so I should probably skate them again, but it's definitely got the thinnest sole plate that I know of on my wall. It's just right with the boot. So that's raised heel boots. You know, unfortunately, there's not a lot of compatibility out there for raised heel boots. They all use different hole patterns. They all use different contours and stuff, so you'd have to do some modification to get any sole plates on. I always recommend doing a Google search, see if you can find a video, somebody who has done the modification, so you know what you're getting yourself into. If you need special hardware or if you need a Dremel or something like that. You know, it's a skate, so it's not a huge investment. If you mess up your boot, it's kind of suck though. So make sure that you do your research first, measure twice, cut once, and make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. If you can't do the modification yourself, reach out to a skate shop. They might be able to help you out. Ultimately, skate shops always want you to skate as much as you can. That's what they're in the business of. So if they can help you skate, help you get a really good setup, they're a first line to call to get some help. So if you have a local skate shop, definitely worth asking them about it. Now's the fun part. So we're going to talk about flat soles. So flat soles are my favorite part. So like I was talking about earlier with the USD Carbon, this is my favorite skate because of a few things, but one of them is it is a flat-soled boot. What's nice about a flat-soled boot is typically with a flat-soled boot, actually with all of the flat-soled boots, every single one, yeah, every single flat-soled boot has the UFS mounts in the bottom of the boot. So what does that mean? Well, if you're looking at these USD Sways, for example, as much as you might love these boots, the UFS mounts are in the sole plate. So there are little T-nuts that fit up here, and this is where the frame will mount. So actually you can see the bolts that come up. And as the bolts screw into the sole plate, this sole plate then screws onto the boot. So you've got 2 degrees of abstraction. So you got the boot, you got the sole plate, and you got the frame. With most of the flat sole boots, you have the T-nuts in the boot. So the frame attaches directly onto the boot. That means that you only have one level. So your boot is attached directly to the frame. Now, the exception is that you usually have a sole plate. So this is the, oh, where'd it go? This is the USD Carbon, yeah. Yes, this is the USD Carbon sole plate. Did I grab the right side? Did. There we go. So for most flat sole boots, is this the right one? This is the wrong one. Uh-oh, which one did I get? Is this the right one? That's Seba. Oh, where did I put the sole plate? I gotta have it somewhere. Oh, you know what? I was skating the 7s. That's where it is. It's this one. This is the wrong sole plate, but you'll get the idea. This is a sole plate. So this is a flat sole plate. So it's completely flat. If you compare this with the raised heel, you can see the big difference back here. This is completely flat. This is the heel. This is raised. Now we talked about that. Why is it raised? It's raised because the boot needs the extra support so that it can provide a flat mounting area for UFS. These, because the boot is flat, the frame can mount directly onto the boot. So this sole plate can be lighter. This sole plate can pass through the bolts. Doesn't have to worry about taking the bolts, doesn't have to add an extra T-nut. Passes through the bolts, goes straight onto the boot. So then the frame mounts directly onto the boot, sandwiching in the sole plate. What's amazing about that is this sole plate can then be made out of a variety of materials because it doesn't do any load bearing. It doesn't have to worry about T-nuts or fastening to a boot or anything like that. It can be thin where it needs to be thin, and it can be beefy where it needs to be beefy. This is why I love flat-soled boots. And this is why I always recommend, if you can, USD Carbons are great, Seba CJs are great, get some Gods. What's another good flat-soled boot up here? I mean, the Shift, the Razor's Shift is a flat-soled boot, believe it or not. It's a proprietary sole plate. IFC, don't get me started on IFC. But definitely, highly recommend flat-soled boots. That is the way to go. So the USD Carbon, you know, the beautiful thing about flat sole boots is that you can find the boot that you like. Oh, adapts, I forgot. Should never forget about adapt. Beautiful thing about flat sole boots is you can find the boot that you like, find the frame that you like, find the sole plate that you like, and you can just mix and match and find the ones that create this perfect setup for you. Now the sole plates that come with this, where did my USD Carbon sole plates go? You know what, I think this is a USD Carbon sole plate, but it is the wrong size, or wrong side, I should say. This one goes with this. Yeah, that's the trick. So this is the sole plate that came on this skate. I swapped out this sole plate. This is the sole plate that came on the USD 7. USD 7, rest in peace, is the best plastic shelled boot that is not available. So this is the USD 7. It is a unicorn. It is a flat-soled boot, but it is a plastic shell. It has an internal shock absorber. It has a removable liner, so you can figure out whatever size you want. And it has a pass-through flat sole plate. Now it does use additional screws on the side if you want to mount this onto the boot. I have no problem with that, so long as the T-nut goes all the way through to the boot. That's what I'm concerned about. I want that T-nut to go all the way through, pulling this boot down using this sole plate as a piece of bologna in the middle of two pieces of Wonder Bread. That's the way that I want my sandwiches. So the frame then mounts on here, and you've got the bolts going directly into the boot. That is the trick. That is what you want from a flat-soled boot. And the poor USD 7 feels like it could be doing so well right now. The rumor is that new Icon company that isn't Powerslide, they are coming out with a line of aggressive skates. One of them is going to be a carbon-free. I think there was a picture that leaked. My guess is the cheaper one is going to be the USD 7. And if it is, I will be very happy because this is my favorite skate. Bar none, USD Carbon is better, but bar none, if you're looking for a $200, $250 skate, USD 7, hands down. This fits perfectly, nice and wide for most feet. It is a flat sole boot. Comes with a killer sole plate, great liner. The only thing missing is a 45-degree strap. But really, it is a pretty perfect skate, but they don't make them anymore. But they came with this amazing sole plate. So if you can find those sole plates, you can put them on any flat-soled boot. So I have them here on my USD Carbons. These are the sole plates that come on the Gods skates, the Frankie Morales Gods skates. You can put them on adapts, I bet. Where are my adapts? I bet you could put them on your adapts. Although the symmetric sole plates, these are the symmetric sole plates that Adapt comes with. They're very different. But it really proves the point that these sole plates, although they do have mounting areas underneath so that you could screw them in, they're inside the little UFS mount area. These sole plates are not injection molded. So most of these sole plates are injection molded out of like a glass-filled nylon or something similar. That means that they're cheap to produce and they're consistent, and you make a mold and very expensive to start up, but you can make thousands of them for dollars. This material probably costs more than this costs to make, let alone trying to cut out this material and then package it and stuff like that. This is made out of a kind of like a UHMW. I don't think it is UHMW, but it's a similar material to UHMW. That's what 50/50 used to make our grind plates out of. It's a very fast material. It stands for ultra high molecular weight plastic. It's a self-lubricating plastic, which usually is found in conveyor belts and stuff. So it's designed to be slippery. And they use it for sole plates because obviously you want a sole plate to be slippery. Now it's not UHMW, it's something similar to UHMW, but it's a similar style. And the beauty is, because this is a flat-soled boot, they don't have to get this huge, thick piece of UHMW. Imagine getting this sole plate. Oh no, where'd it go? I have too many sole plates. Imagine getting this sole plate made out of UHMW and having to integrate this raised heel area in. you're gonna have so much wasted material. This isn't a cheap sole plate to begin with. So imagine having all of this wasted material inside the sole plate. This would be like a $200 sole plate. And it would be heavy because it would have to have all of this support underneath. So this is why I like flat boots. The Adapt is a really great example. You can get these sole plates aftermarket. You can see there's a little bit of space around them. This little area back here, a little bit of space. That means that you can fit a variety of skates with these sole plates. So you could put them on your USD Carbons, you could put them on your Seba CJs, you could put them on your Gods, Carbon Frees, whatever. Super flexible options with a replaceable sole plate that is pretty much universal. You don't have to have the little bolts underneath this sole plate in order to fit them on your sole. All you need is those two pass-through screws, sandwich that frame onto the boot, and you're good to go. All right, so that's a lot about sole plates. Again, my favorite sole plates if I were skating raised heel, I love the Sway sole plate. I think it is the perfect balance of width, nice royale groove that catches you nicely. These sole plates designed for the USD Sway, you could definitely fit them on other raised heel boots with modification. I see a lot of people putting them on their them skates. Really good option for that. And I will be putting together a video showing you how I did my modification so that you can see all of the steps if you want to get these as well. If you are looking for a flat-soled boot, USD Carbon, Adapt, Carbon Free, Seba CJ, my pick is the USD 7 sole plate. These are the USD 7s. Yes. USD 7 sole plate. You can tell by the rounded area. The carbon sole plate, I don't know where it went. Carbon sole plate is a little different. It's got a slightly different groove. USD 7 sole plate, I love the wide sole. I love the groove. The only thing I don't like is this angle seems a little off. It's like if you wanted to get boot down, this angle is like straight like this. Really, it's like this. So you need to kind of grind it down a little bit. There are a few other sole plates worth mentioning. These are the Seba sole plates. Seba sole plates are nice. Pretty thin royale or a thin sole area though. You can see where my knuckle is. The other sole plates come to like my, you can see the other sole plate comes to my knuckle. The groove is really nice though. I really liked royale tricks with them. The problem with this Seba sole plate is the Sebas are fairly skinny. This Seba sole plate doesn't fit on many other skates. So you'd have to do some pretty serious modification to get this to fit. The USD Carbon sole plates are really nice. Much better royale groove than these USD 7s, but I prefer the sole on the USD 7s. Kind of a trade-off between those two. My preference is the 7, but if you can find the USD Carbon sole plates, definitely worth picking up. The problem with those is they don't sell very many of them aftermarket, so you kind of have to get them on the boots. I don't know where the heck mine went, so you can't have mine. The Adapts are definitely an honorable mention. A bit expensive, but if you want the best of the best, really great sole plates. I love doing sole tricks and groove tricks on my Adapts. I've never tried those sole plates on a different boot, but that sounds like a really fun review to try. If you have questions about any sole plates or anything like that, would love to answer them. Please feel free to leave a comment, leave a question in the live chat. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of sole plates and I can compare them for you. I think I have my calipers over there if I need to get measurements. But I can definitely finger measure them and see where they end up on my knuckles for you. I'm gonna get some more water. Any questions, please make sure you leave them in the chat. We're at an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go a little bit longer if people have questions, finish up questions, and then get out of here. And as always, thank you all so much for joining me on a Wednesday night. I know there are other things going on, but it's lovely to see you all tonight. Let's go through the chat. Oh, YouTube skips. When you scroll with the live stream, it stutters if I haven't been scrolling enough. All right, going all the way back. House of Hayne, hey Sam, are you going to chamfer the frame? Yes, absolutely. Assuming you're talking about the them frame, I'm going to chamfer this. I'm going to take it down a little bit just so that I have less of a abrupt edge here. I think that will help me a little bit. I like that. Again, you can do you. I find what works best for me. For me, a little bit of a finger press, like a thumb press groove, is probably all that I need for these frames to feel really good. I was able to get Boot Down Royale on my box, but it felt very forced and very fast, like super low. It's not enjoyable. So it's more of proving it, you know, showing that I can do it versus going out there and having fun skating. I'm too old to go out there and prove it. I just want to have fun skating. So I'm going to modify these to make them better for me. I will definitely put a video together so that you can see what I've done. Carlos Diamante, 5050 UHMW sole plates perfect width and groove for prime frames coming up soon. No, but UHMW is amazing. I would love to make UHMW sole plates. It would require a boot, and that's a while off. There's a lot of great boots out there, but definitely UHMW is an amazing material. I'd love to make UHMW sole plates. Kevin Silva, would you ever consider selling 3D printed sole plates on the 50V store? That's a really good question. 3D printed sole plates don't last super long. So I would probably say no. And the reason is I feel like they would wear down too fast, and they wouldn't be worth the money. But never say never. I mean, if we can build out this market 3D printing network, then maybe we can get the costs down. But yeah, no plans right now, but I never say no. Anton, if I own XS them 909s, what size sole plate, sway sole plate is compatible? That's a good question. I don't know. I think you would have to check. I don't know if sways make a 5.6, but that's probably what it would be. The 5.6, because this sway sole plate is the 910. I'm assuming that they go in two sizes, so it would be a 7.8 would be the small, since this is the medium. So that would be the small, and then I would say a 5.6, but I don't know that they make a 5.6. So you might be out of luck. It's a good question. That's one of those things that I would need to ask for help with. But if you get stuck, leave a comment in the video and ask the question after this live stream, and I will definitely do a little research and see if I can find out. I love the sole plates, so I think if we can help people get nice sole plates for the thems, I think that's a really good idea. I did also hear rumor that them was working on an updated sole plate. Again, take that as a grain of salt, with a grain of salt, but I've heard that they're working on an updated sole plate. I think the sole plates are great for a lot of people. They're just not great for me. So if they can make a sole plate that's great for me, then I'm 100% down and I want to try it out. But all rumors. I haven't seen anything or heard anything. Kenan, I will definitely look you up when I get out there. Thank you. Donatello, glad to hear cores are coming soon. Also emailed you, but have you tried printing core walls with ABS or PETG? I did see your email. I haven't done the research. ABS, I've heard, is difficult to print and probably provides similar characteristics to PLA. PLA Plus or PLA Max is probably the filament that I would recommend. PETG, I have not heard any results. I don't know of any people printing with it. I've never tried it, but PLA works really well. PLA Plus works really well. So I would stick with PLA Plus if you've got extra time. Definitely PETG is worth trying, but I would be interested to hear what you think about it. I've heard that ABS doesn't work great. It can be a little brittle. Daniel Crawford, have you tried the new core frames on Adapts? How are they currently riding Symmetrics frames anti-currently? I have not tried the core frames on the Adapts because I haven't skated my Adapts in a little bit. I should probably do that. So after I finish my 908 review, I will skate my Adapts. Maybe just for a live stream, but I will definitely skate my Adapts for you. And I'll set them up with prime frames because I really like the adapts. The only thing I didn't like about the adapts is the cuff being stiff makes it difficult. Where are they? Buried. The cuff being stiff makes it difficult for me to get boot down on Royales on taller frames. Prime frames have a pretty nice Royale groove, so I don't think that would be much of a problem with these skates, but we'll see. I will definitely give them a shot. That is a great recommendation. Thank you. Aldelega, hey, my God. Some people also use hard wheels to make sliding easier for swivels and garnishes, etc. Exactly. Yeah, any sliding stuff totally makes sense. I think the harder the wheel, the easier it is for you to just kick a turn out a little bit, not get stuck if you're grinding a ledge or something that could be a little sticky. Again, for normal skating, normal use cases, I think those are just super hard. The main motivation is I want the wheels to last for a long time, or I want to avoid wheel bite. And those are two fairly fine situations I don't find myself in. So softer wheels for me, but that's what's so nice right now is that we've got plenty of options out there. It sounds like we're Andrew Edgerton is inviting everybody over for a session over at Kennan's house skating the ramp. That would be amazing. I don't know that he's down, but I mean, nicest dude I know. So maybe, I mean, just show up. I'll let you know when I show up. Xander Williams, go the route of machining UHMW with a symmetrical layout. Yeah, I think symmetrical UHMW would be the best way to save cost. I don't know that that's the best aesthetically, but definitely if you were trying to save cost, that's the way to do it. Bobby Blues, 616 Night UHMW soles for razors and rims were the best ever made. Absolutely. That is a really great mention. So we were talking a little bit about the Razors SL and these little slider areas. So there's these sliders, and then there's this Royale Groove area. There were companies that made replacement sliders for this. I don't know that there still are, but when these skates first came out and they were super popular, it is a small piece of material. You could definitely make a replaceable plate for that. Just a little countersink, 2 holes, and you're good to go. And I know that Knight 616, whichever, definitely experimented with a ton of different sole plates for a ton of different skates out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they made them for this. And yeah, UHMW would be amazing. UHMW is a great material for grinds. It's not great for frames because the UHMW material is so soft that when you skate them, the more gaps that you do, the more force that you drive into those frames, the more the frames will, over time, expand. And that means that the axle hole, instead of being a perfect circle, becomes more like, you know, an ellipse, like a pill. And when it becomes more like a pill, you get the clacky, 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 and you don't want that. But if you're skating core frames, you could probably make a UHMW wall. I haven't seen any yet, but that would be amazing. Hope somebody does it. If they do, please let me know. I'd love to skate them. All right, scrolling. Greg Pilato. Hey, Greg. Has anyone ever talked about why we use Soul, S-O-U-L, versus Sole, S-O-L-E? It's a really great, really good question. I don't know if that has ever really been discussed. My guess was that it was the sole of somebody's feet, but then they kind of thought, well, soul is kind of a weird word. What if it was soul, S-O-U-L? And that kind of made it our own. So it's not just a direct, this is the sole of your foot, but it's like a spiritual sort of thing. That would be my hunch. I bet you either Arlo would know, or Angie probably would know, like those sort of people. I don't know. Maybe there's a podcast. Did Arlo talk about that on his Jump Street podcast? Maybe he did. I know there is something out there where Arlo was talking about the name of the soul grind and where that name came from. I don't know. That's a really good question, though. I don't know that answer. But it's always been soul. And even when I say the sole of your foot, it's always S-O-U-L when I talk about skates. Solid Snake 412. Those are Damian Wilson Pro Models. Yes, these Xsjados. Thank you. I was not around when these came out, so I never met Damian. I never really saw him skate. So that is something that is a name that I don't have any association with, so I couldn't remember it. But that is absolutely it. These are the Damian Wilson Xsjados. Good call. Thank you. Andrew Egerton, in your experience, Edgerton. In your experience, do you feel a difference in similar style soles with different material formula? I would presume the slide might be quite different. Yeah, I do. I don't have any problems with most of the soles. Some of the soles I feel are a little bit glassier than others. I'm trying to think which soles felt glassy. I can't remember, but there were a few soles that I remember when I jumped on, it felt like it was just a wild ride, right? Where you couldn't lock on solid. It just kind of floated around. I don't remember which soles they were. My favorite are the UHMW because it feels like a solid lock. It feels like a cushioned lock, but it slides further, in my opinion, than the others. And it's not this uncontrollable, like glassy feel. It's a solid, like I'm on the ledge and it just pushes me through. So definitely my preference is UHMW. I love that feeling. I didn't mention king soles. I forgot. These king soles, actually, these are made out of, not UHMW, I think they're made out of Delrin. I could be wrong. But they were made by a guy named Andrew Kingery back in 2018, I think. And they are for the Them 908. So these are king soles that fit on the 908. Really nice wide sole, really nice groove, handmade. He doesn't make these anymore. I think they took a ton of time, and he probably was doing it because he loved doing it. But these were made out of an amazing material. They felt great. I loved skating these. I need to get another session in on them. It's been a long time since I've skated those king soles, just for old time's sake. All right, I think we are good. I think we're good. Oh, there's a few more questions that popped up. Oops, did I get those? Yes. I think I got everything. Oh, I just go. That's what it was. Somebody repeated their question. Zizzer Jukas, what's your favorite customizable boot? Good question. I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite customizable boot. I usually ride the boots the way that they are. I've swapped out the sole plates on all of my Them skates. My 909s. These are my 909s. I swapped out the sole plates. I swapped out the laces, swapped out the liner, and then obviously the frames. I love the way that the skate looks. So I love anything UFS that you're able to swap out the frames. I think frames can bring a very different ride to your skate setup. Obviously putting wheels on doesn't have to always be black, but if you put a different color wheel on, it would be really nice. Yeah, I don't know. Customizable, it's looking down. Probably the Sways have fairly easy customizable things. The SLs were kind of built for customizing, but I'm not a huge fan of the SL customizable options. I think swapping out sliders is fine, but I don't know. I kind of like that area to be consistent. And because that sole plate is like this proprietary style, there's not a lot of options there for me. But maybe the SLs, but I see a lot of people swapping around their 908s and 909s. Probably those two. David Quist, do you think Rosie's is going to do the whole rainbow of colors this year. Well, I don't see why not. Have they done blue this year? They haven't. They've done the blue in that MCO. That what is that? The 1992 skate based off of the is it the Barcelona? I don't know what free skate it was, but yeah, they've got a lot of colors there. They got the yellow, they've got the Bobby. I mean, green. We haven't seen any green skates recently, have we? I wouldn't put it past them. I think Rosie's is going all in on color after so many years of just doing kind of black and white. It's refreshing to see them doing color. I hope they continue to make the black and white because I think a lot of people love black and white. But bring me some color, like something different. I love seeing it. I don't know that I could pull it off, but I love seeing it. Tim Saruda. Yes. Do you think aggressive skate designers considered supination of the foot when it comes to sole space? It feels like my push support is sacrificed for grinding space. That is a good question. I can't speak for designers because I've never designed a skate. In saying that, I don't see why they would do it any differently than a freestyle skate. For example, I don't think that the alignment of the frame would be any further on the inside or outside of the edge. I think it should be squarely in the middle. Now, there are some skates that aren't like that. None come to mind, but I know of them. I just can't think of the names. That maybe had the alignment wrong, but those are just odd situations. If you have do I have my big speed skates? Oh, these big bad boys. These babies. So this is, you can see the toe. This wheel is so far on the inside that when you're skating, it kind of helps you skate faster. It helps you with your under push. It helps you when you're striding to push underneath. That's pretty aggressive. Like, that's a big sole area. If you had these and you were doing sole tricks, I could see people having a problem skating these. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know of any designers that have done skates that I can ask, but I can start asking around. I would assume that everybody tries to make their frame alignment right under their boot. And then typically the sole will it's under the boot, and then the sole will just come out even further to provide more sole space. So it's not like they're moving the frame over to give yourself more sole space. They're just making the sole even wider than normal. That would be my assumption, but I don't know that that's right. Good question. I've never asked that question. Otavio Rios, what sole plates do you think will fit on the rims? Eesh. Oh God, that's heavy. These things are not going to be easy to mod. They are very proprietary. This sole plate can come off, but I don't know what would fit on them. It looks kind of like a flat sole. You can see the little mounting area under here, but I don't think you could fit a flat sole plate on there. I've never taken off a Rems sole plate because it's got this area on the side too. I don't know. That's one that I've never considered. Maybe somebody in the chat can help you, or I can see if I can find some information on it. I don't think I've ever seen a Rems with an aftermarket sole plate. I don't think that's a thing. If it is, I don't know what sole plates people would put on there. And I can't see it being a minor modification. I see this being a fairly major mod with some dremeling and some drilling. All right. Cameron Phipps, what frame would that flat not evoke best performance and maybe style compared to frame that hurts your skill? I know you're part of 50/50, so it may be difficult. Yes. Obviously, I love 50/50 frames. It depends. So if you are interested in skating flat and you have fairly bigger feet, I always recommend the Wish frame. I think the Wish frame is a really great balance of a nice flat setup, but still room to grind. Now, it is a longer frame, but that is not a problem if you've got bigger feet and if you rocker. So if you skate 60s on the inside, 72s on the outside, it'll be a slight 1 mil, half mil rocker, which means that the 72s won't feel quite as long all the way out there. 395, I think their length is, something like that. It's a very long frame, not 395, 385, something like that. It's a very long frame, but because the middle wheels can rocker a little bit, it feels a little shorter than it actually is. I see a lot of really great skaters skating Wish, so I think that's a really great frame to consider. If you're looking for anti-rocker, I always recommend the Fluid 4. I think the Kaiser Fluid 4 is a really great frame for anti-rocker. It's got a really nice groove. It's made out of a really fast material. I really like that frame. So those are the two. Obviously, 50/50 is great. But if I didn't want to pick 50/50, Kaiser Fluid 4 and the Wish frame would probably be my 1 and 2, depending on flat or anti-rocker. All right. I think I'm done. Good. Okay, lots of silly questions, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Thank you all so much. This was a fun episode. I have so many skates on the ground, so many sole plates on the ground. It's great to be able to, because I collect all this stuff. I love all this stuff. It's great to be able to show off all of this stuff so that people could see it. These are the days that we wish we had more skate shops. You know, skating comes back, numbers are up, and we've got, lockdown, and you can't go to skate shops, and skate shops close. I am hoping that summer or fall, we will have tons of skate shops because skating will just continue growing through summer and people will be opening up. And you'll be able to walk into skate shops and you'll be able to see a wall of skates like this. And you'll be able to see, I want that one, or I want that one, or let me try those on. That is crazy to think that it's a dream, but that is the dream, that we would be able to bring back more skate shops. Every city needs to have a skate shop, or at least every area needs to have a skate shop, so that people can go out there, ask the questions that I get asked, have their local experts who know what they're talking about, who don't mind spending 20 minutes getting somebody set up because they know that if they find the right skates, they're going to be a customer for life. That is super important to me. I hope we can do it. In saying that, support your local shops. I always pitch that you can buy stuff direct from us. You can buy stuff direct from them. You can buy stuff direct from any company probably. But support your local shops. It's very important that they get your money for products so that we can keep them in business. It is super important that people out there can find a skate shop. They aren't as educated as you. They aren't as resourceful as you. They need to be able to check their local Google and say skate shop near me or whatever. And they find a place that has somebody who knows what they're talking about. So if you are fortunate enough to have a skate shop, go there as often as you can, give them as much money as you can, get as much stuff from there as you can. It's super important. Hope everybody is having a great week. Hope everybody is healthy and vaccinated. I'm going to remind everybody, if you have the option, it is crazy easy to get vaccinated now in the US. I know that other countries aren't quite as, not all countries, but other countries don't have quite as much access to vaccines as we do. I got my second a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago now. And it is a amazing feeling to go through the shops and stores and such. I'm still wearing a mask. I feel like it just paints the same picture. We're still having this pandemic, but I do wear my mask when I go out. I don't wear it outside, but I do wear it when I go indoors. And I feel confident. I feel safe. I go to the skate park over the weekend. I feel safe. I want everybody to have that feeling. I want everybody to be able to come out and visit me here in Durham, North Carolina, and skate and check out the stuff. I want everybody to be able to go to Woodward. I want everybody to skate together at all of the events. There's going to be amazing events. Best way we can do that safely is everybody get vaccinated. It's super easy to do. It will help you. It will help your community. It is totally safe, and it will make you healthy. So definitely worth doing if you're in the US. If you're not, whenever it's available, highly recommend doing it. It's silly not to. Even my wife, who, love her, she has some serious immune issues. Like if somebody gets the cold, she gets it really bad. Like she's that person. And she got her Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It was a single shot, so she knew that she was going to get sick. She's like, I'm just going to get sick once. And here it is like 5 days later, and 7 days later, and she's still fighting a fever from time to time. But it is worth doing. If you have the means, if you have the privilege to get the vaccine, if you have the privilege to be able to take a weekend off to recover, do it. It's super important. Hope everybody else is going to be able to skate. Hope you get to skate this weekend. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading on your Instagram post so that I can see you skating. I love watching your skating. Thanks again to the helmetinitiative.org for our helmet giveaway. Thank you to the Patreon for helping us get some funds to send helmets out and to keep the lights on and to get us stuff for review. If you want to be a Patreon patron, I don't know what the possessive or the singular word is for that. Patreon.com/backtoblading. Couple bucks a month would really help. We definitely appreciate all the support. Hope everybody gets to skate. Hope everybody's doing well. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks.